Hey, welcome everybody. Client Spotlight, Samantha, the almighty, well-known, all-inspiring Samantha. You're almost almost like, The Rock now. It's like no one even needs a name anymore because of the stuff you were able to accomplish. And I do not say that lightly. I mean that with everything in me. Um, no, Samantha was one of the 100-pound weight loss. How much total was it at the high? Because I mean, you did show prep and then you went back up a little bit. But what was the largest number amount?
125 was largest.
125 pounds. And how long was that?
Um, about a year is
About a
what
year.
it.
Guy,
Yeah,
about 12 months, 120, and successfully kept it. Now, again, we did show prep. So there was a little bit down and then a little bit of came back up. But you really didn't. I mean, there wasn't like this giant reap. Like me, I used to gain like 30 pounds after show prep,
yeah.
It,
No big influxes in my weight. I think the most, like right now, I've gone up like 12 pounds
yeah, yeah. See
since
that?
show.
Yeah. See, that's awesome. But I like doing these because we live in a world that people see results. We're in such a visual thing with social media. People see results, but again, we don't see the work, we don't see the tears, we don't see the heartache, we don't see the frustration. We think it's all sunshine and rainbows. They don't understand. Samantha, you just don't understand my situation, my family, my
Right.
background. You're like, wait, let me show you a picture of what and it's like, what do you mean you don't know my, like, I do understand your situation. No, I am a mom, because everybody thinks, oh, well, you just had nothing better to do. You don't have a
Yep.
job that, you don't know what it's like having kids. You're like, well, no, I do have a job. No, I do have kids. No, I still, and it's,
Yeah.
and that's why I say, like, one of the things that stuff like this does is it inspires people, but it also takes our excuses away.
Yes.
Everybody wants the result, but yet people are just like, man, that's hard. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I have it in me. So that's why I love hearing your story. And I don't think people can hear it enough. And I really, truly mean that. But let's go back. Let's go back a little bit. So you don't know me. We've never spoke. You were wherever you were at in life, back, 2020, 2021, 2022. We're kind of going through like, where were you at physically, mentally, habit, like you just kind of, where were you at? Like, what was your state?
So before meeting you, mentally, I was a hot mess. I had a lot of struggles, a lot of excuses for everything. Um, And physically, I was in probably the worst shape I had ever been in my life. I was at my heaviest point, and that was at 265. So I
Wow.
was creeping up to 300 pounds, and I felt every bit of it. I couldn't go to the park with my kids. It was a struggle. Um, my eating habits and my relationship with food was horrible as well. I was doing a lot of binge eating. I would like so all my life you've heard of like yo-yo dieting and all these fad things that are just going to make you drop all this weight, and you restrict, and then you binge and you're like, well, I've already screwed up the day, I've already screwed up my diet, might as well just keep eating. And that's what I would do, and it was a constant cycle. And I would have a bad day, and usually, like, some people like to go out for a beer, I would sit and bury my face in food, and that made me feel better. Um so that's kind of where I was at that point, and dealing with all my life stressors and my medical issues going on. And I was in a really bad place, and I just kept spiraling, and I kept going down further and further. The weight kept packing on. I was able to do less and less things. My vision was going. I was almost completely blind. It was horrible. Horrible.
So guys, listen to that. Vision was affected. People, well, you just don't understand my situation. Well, yeah, have you ever had your vision affected? So that's why I say, like, I mean, you were really in a state where, like, look, major changes really need to come through here. So kind
Yep.
of walk us through, like, how did, I know there was somebody else that inspired you.
Yes. Yep. So I saw someone else, Christy, and I saw her and her transformation and getting the stage and everything. And I was like, I want to do that. I can do that. I would love to do that. I want to get the weight off. I want to feel better. And why not get glammed up and go have fun while you do it? Even if I did it once, because initially I was just going into this as I just want to do one show and I just want to prove that I can do something for myself. I
Yeah.
wanted to do it for me, not for everybody else. Um, and so I kind of started at that point. And then she introduced me to you, and I kind of got on the roll with that. And we worked on my nutrition. And because I think we did that for like the first month, it was
Yeah.
just food
Yeah.
and worked on that. And I understood, the macros and how that works and the numbers. And like, I almost had to kind of rewire my brain from what society has like spat out at us for years.
That's been a
And
common theme.
yep, and it's not the truth. And so I had to relearn like everything I had known my whole life that was wrong. Um, so that's kind of where how it all had gotten started and just kind of built from that point once I got more confident with, my numbers and knowing what I could eat, what kind of meals we were kind of looking at, then I felt a little bit more independent. I would just make my own meals as long as all my numbers matched.
Yeah. 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 So I mean, you had a lot of flexibility. It wasn't like, I
Yep.
told you to eat boiled chicken and broccoli all the time. That wasn't on a plan. It
No.
was, hey, let's, these are some protein sources, these are some carb sources, get your vegetables, don't shy away from fruit. It's not like, we didn't eliminate a bunch of stuff. We just knew, okay, these are the portions that we're going to do, fit them
Yes.
into these categories, and here's the thing, she would drive over an hour,
Mm-hmm.
weekends, some nights to come to the gym. Now, again, a lot of my clients don't, but you did.
Yep.
There was a dedication level. There's people down the street that can't make it to the gym, and here she's driving. What is it? About an hour and a half, hour and 20 minutes.
Hour and 15 to 20 minutes. And I
Yeah.
took all four of my kids
Yes. Yes.
every
Brought the
time.
kids. They're hanging out. I tried to pick on your daughter, and she was scared of me. And I don't think I ever got her to warm up to me, but we tried. But it was just that, and they saw again, they're young, but it's like
Yes.
what you were able to do to show them that, look, this, I'm dedicated to this. I'm going to put my time and energy into something, and then your son started running and, and it's just like, now, would he have done that if you didn't do that? Yeah, maybe, we don't know,
Yeah.
but again, there's no doubt in my mind that made some positive changes and, in just his thought process. Right. And
Yes.
that's why I say, like, more is caught than taught. Like, we can tell our kids all the time, but you showed them an example of what to do. You really showed that hard work paid off. We
Yeah.
always tell kids, work hard, work hard, work hard. And then the kids are looking at us like, well, you guys aren't, they look at us and we're like, well, you guys are always mad and miserable. And,
Right.
like, does hard work not pay off, mom and dad? And it's like, well, it paid off. You were able to show them that hard work pays off. And that was kind of one of the things, one of my questions was, what was your thought, prior to coaching? Again, you just answered that. Was, I didn't know what I didn't know, all the stuff
Right.
that we just, are regurgitated of what we hear about what's healthy, what we should be doing for fitness, and what foods are good, what foods are bad, what foods to avoid, how much we should be eating. It's just, and then again, just this cyclical yo-yo up and down, this extreme thing to this next extreme thing, and this shake and this bar,
Yes.
and versus just like, hey, look, let's just narrow this down to something very simple and basic where we can get the education, understand it, have a plan, and then
Yep.
having, and you were the type of person, that checked in all the time. You never missed check-ins. You did your
Yep.
measurements. You did your, you were so diligent with it, because we always say, you can't expect what you cannot inspect.
Right.
I can't expect something if I don't know, it's like, man, we're broke. Well, how much money are you spending? I don't know. Well, do you balance your checkbook? Well, no. Well, you're going to continually be broke. Kind of the same thing with, with our health. It's, where's our inventory? What do we do? And you were awesome at it. You were so diligent with tracking it. So I knew you were totally on point, literally the entire time. I mean, there were some hiccups. We all have hiccups, but
Yes.
they were very, very small ones, right? You were right back on all the time. Now, in that time frame of that year while losing it and past that where we're at now, like what's probably one of the biggest things that you learned or like your biggest takeaway of like aha, like wow, I know, one of those just
Right.
really educational pieces or almost kind of mind-blowing aha moments.
So what I learned the most is to not overthink. I think fitness and nutrition and specifics are just so overthought. And it's like, I have to I take all my carbs away and I have to starve myself and go do hours of cardio and spend hours in the gym lifting. And it's like, no, you don't have to do all of that. You can balance everything and still live a perfectly normal, productive life and go out and have fun. And you can go to dinner and, with your spouse and enjoy that. And it's it's not as extreme as everybody assumes it to be. To me, once I got on board with everything, the process is so simple. It is so easy and it's not that stressful. In and out 30 to 40 minutes and, go for a walk. You don't have to go and spend hours on the treadmill or go wear yourself out. Go for a 30-minute walk in the evening. Go do it on the weekend. Take your kids. It because walks for us turned into like a family thing. Even now my kids are
That's
like,
what
"We
Julie and
want to
I
go
did.
for a walk." And they love it. And we
Yeah.
just go out and go walk for 30
Yeah.
minutes.
That's
Like,
great. And how many families do that?
right. None.
Very, very, very few. That's something Julie and I did. Hey, let's grab the kids. Let's actually bond. Wow, let's actually
Right.
talk. As a
Yep.
as a married couple and a family. Wow, let's put the phones down and shut the television off and go for a walk. I'm glad you said that because everybody thinks it's you have to drag your butt out of bed, sleep deprived. You have
Yep.
to double it up every day and go in for 2 hours here and get up in the morning and it's like, I mean, if you broke down on an hourly basis throughout the week, how many hours do you think you were physically in? You were probably in your car longer than you were in the gym,
Yes. Yep.
with the drive. But it's like, and it's not like you came to the gym every time. It was like, a
Right.
once a week type thing, or sometimes twice. But I mean, physically in the gym, how many hours a week do you think you spent in the gym physically?
Oh, probably not even 5 to 6
Yeah,
hours a week.
right,
Not
right. Yeah, I mean, who couldn't do that in an entire, everybody think, I'm super, super glad you said that. Now, what would you tell somebody that is maybe in your position
hmm
years ago,
hmm
nervous, don't know what, because a lot of people want it, but they just don't know what direction. Like, do
Right.
I go northeast, south, or west? What direction? What do I need to do? Like, because people are terrified of wasting their time. So
Right.
they don't want to waste their time. So they freeze and they don't do anything. Like, what would you give, like, a few simple words of advice? Very simple, very basic, but yet very impactful. Like, what would you tell somebody in a position like that?
Um, I would just say take a look at yourself and your goals. I think your goals should kind of be the driving force behind figuring out where to start. If you just want to eat better, then focus on your nutrition. Figure out how to get to that point. Ask questions of people. No one's going to judge you. And, I think just figuring out where you want to be and go in small steps. Don't like think big huge goals like years down the road, like small things. You want to be more consistent in the gym, but I don't know what workouts to do. Ask, hire a coach, look into getting you a coach that can put you on a plan to get you to that point. But just baby steps, one day at a time. If you mess up, it's okay. It's just one day in the
I,
big grand scheme of things.
I
Get
love
back
it.
on track the next day.
Yeah.
Not a big deal.
Bingo, bingo. That's awesome. Well, hey, Samantha,
Yeah.
one of the things that, again, I hear all the time is, man, there's that one gal, Samantha. How did she do it? How did she really do it? And
Right.
it's what do you mean? How did she really do it? Well, like, what kind of like diet pills did she take? And what kind of
Yeah.
I'm like, I just like, supplements can aid and all that, but look, you put the work in, you put the time in, and it just, again, you had a clear, concise goal, you had a path to run on, and you did it. And
Yeah.
it just, and then no one can ever take that away from you. It was something that you earned, you did it, hard work, sweat, tears, joy, smiling, and everything up and above, right? So super, super proud of you. Again, you've been an inspiration to so many people, and I know your story is not anywhere near done. So it's always, always, always awesome catching up, and love seeing what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Absolutely.